Hi guys. So we've been using HeavyJob now for about 6 weeks, and I just wanted to take a couple minutes to go over some best practices, especially when making a time card. But the first thing that I wanted to tell you was to update your data each time you sign into your iPad. Should be the first thing that you do that day to make sure you don't have any rejected time cards or meetings you need to attend. So let's go ahead and update data. It's up in the left corner. Another good thing to check is that you are in the correct job. I know some of you work a couple different projects, so let's make sure we're in the right job. So this is a time card that I made earlier, but let's start with a new one. We'll go for tomorrow. Most of you are pretty good at making these time cards by now. You can always go in here on your list and find the people on your crew. If there's a new hire and he's not showing up on your list, try using this refresh button. A lot of times they're in the system, but your iPad just hasn't pulled them in yet, and that refresh will add them to your list. You'll notice that the source says job. There's another source, and it's your library. When a new employee comes in, most of the time he will be in your library, so you'll find him in there and select him, and he will then be added to your job library. Okay. You can add cost codes. Another best practice would be to choose from only labor cost codes. You can use this filter button that I showed you up here and just scroll to labor. You can get more specific if you want to, and it will drill down into more specific cost codes for you. But 99% of the time we want to make sure we're only choosing from labor codes. Okay, and you can add codes this way. And then you have a setup for the day. But I also wanted to show you, I'll delete this one. If you're not using this feature to pull in your time, if you've got similar crews from your previous day, you can copy previous, and that'll pull in your crew from yesterday. And you can maybe change a couple guys if your crew slightly changed. I'd say if half your crew's still on there, you should just pull it over. If it's all new crew, obviously you can just build the time card that way. So whenever entering their schedules, you should have some templates in there by now that you can load. I have one that's a 7 to 5:30 with a lunch. And you can also add it to the entire crew. Yes. Done. And let's say your crew's ready to leave and you don't have all their hours in. Good thing to do, instead of having them wait around for you to finish up your time card, would be to go through and give them the hours that they worked that day. Say these people worked 10. Ian, I guess, only worked 8. And so you'll have to change his schedule. And let's say that Ian only worked 8 because he had a dentist appointment. So a best practice for that is using an attendance code. And that way we can track these sort of occurrences. So you'll click on his hours, you can put in an attendance code. You say that he worked 8, but he was excused for 2. Done. And you knew he was gonna only work 8, so I'm gonna change his time to leaving at 3:30. Done. All right, so now your crew's ready to sign. I'll go ahead and sign for him. I don't recommend you forge anyone's signature, but this is just a demo. Notice how it split those out, and he knows what he's signing for. Want to make sure you get people to sign out every day. It should be a very rare occurrence that a certain person doesn't sign out, and it should be for a good reason, because this lets us know that they were not hurt and that they agree to the amount of hours that they're signing for. So it deals with a lot of issues that may come up later. Okay, so you can go ahead and send those, and your crew can leave, but you need to finish your time card. So you need to go into the cost code. I'm just going to add a quantity here. I want to make sure we're adding quantities and notes to each one of our cost codes. So small machine operator, we'll say he worked in the yard. Give a good description, that way the engineer knows what you're talking about. For instance, if he unloaded a truck, let him know what he unloaded and where that material goes. So, unloaded overhang lumber for span 3. Okay. And from this screen, you can actually use this button over here to go to your next cost code instead of exiting out like this and doing that there. You can scroll amongst your cost codes at the top of your time card. So I'm going to enter in the quantity, a note, installed arch, anchor metals. I'll say that's under structural steel. And make sure you're putting a note index for each one of your cost codes. That helps populate the engineer's daily construction report and gives more of a working area for your crew. Installed anchor plates at abutment 1. Okay. Looks like it worked pretty well that time. Grease plate covers. Oh, done.
Alright already, Tanner. There's no need to yell.
Alright. Say worked at Pier 4. Alright, unload handle trunnion. There's only one of them. Say you unloaded it at the yard. Unloaded trunnion at the yard and set on the bank. Done. Back. Alright, and Notice that I have an excused hour, or 2 excused hours. You want to say why, and you can say dentist appointment. Done. And then from this point out, it's just splitting out amongst these cost codes. I'm going to go ahead and send. Oh, this is just because I already used that cost code. Don't worry about that one. Send. And notice how it says sent at the bottom. Just because it says sent doesn't always mean that it's been received. So a good practice would be to go to your main menu, settings. Under utilities, there is a transmission queue, and you can see everything that you sent and whether it was successfully sent or received by the HeavyJob manager. So it looks like mine was sent successfully, and you can refresh it as well. All right, that's all I have for now. Please give me a call if you have any questions. Thanks.